Hi, if you're new here, my name is Rachel. I'm an Australian artist and illustrator. I recently challenged myself to drawing every day for 100 days, and here's what happened. I've been really meaning to talk about this for a while. I've already done the sketchbook tour where I go through most of the work that I created because I filled up one sketchbook and then started on another. But what I really want to talk about today was some of the things that I found changed in my practice and in my style over those 100 days. So the reason I decided to do this challenge was I am having a baby. I don't know if you can see there. I'm having a baby at the end of this month. So I just really wanted to make sure that I was carving out time for my own creative projects. Things directed by me, things that didn't come from commissions or outside work, or even thinking about monetizing the whole process. And I think this was a really good way to carve out that dedicated time every day that's just for your own creative play. It was a new practice for me. I generally do draw most days, but mostly I draw digitally or I'm working on client projects. So I really wanted to do analog sketchbook drawings every day and make sure that they were personal drawings, things that I wanted to do, nothing coming from the outside or, creatively directed by anyone from the outside. The first thing that I found was my style started to change, or sort of new styles started to emerge. It was kind of things that were already there, but I think that dedicating that time really allowed it to mature and grow and sort of come into its own. Which makes me think if you are trying to find your creative style, or if you are feeling a bit stuck or bored or rusty, kind of like I was, that having a really steady, consistent practice can be so helpful in really bringing out parts of your work that you sort of didn't really know were there. So I'd really recommend this kind of thing for you if you're an artist on any part of your journey, whether you feel like you're established or are already working commercially, or if you're just doing it for fun. It's really cool to sort of find new styles and a new voice that you might have, or a new visual language. And I think it's really helpful also to remember that regardless of where you are on your creative journey, you are always growing and changing. So, if you put in a fair chunk of time into your practice, things really start to change, or things can really start to evolve and grow, which is really fun. So I work digitally a lot for my commercial projects, and I've found that having a consistent commitment to working analog, working in the sketchbook, really helped me get over that rusty feeling that I get whenever I swap from iPad to sketchbook. So I think those were the two main benefits in terms of finding a style and finding a flow. It's really having a consistent practice makes so much difference. I also found that this really built a habit for me. And I know folks talk about all kinds of different timelines when it comes to forming habits. So anything from like a couple of weeks to hundreds of days, depending on the individual and how much resistance you have to building a particular habit. But what I've found is that after doing the 100 days and then kind of letting myself off the hook when it was done, I'm still waking up wanting to do some sketching and drawing most days. So it seems like maybe 100 days is a good amount of time to start building a bit of momentum and solidifying a habit that you can keep going on with. I'm not someone with really organised mornings. I get up really, really early, but I just do different stuff. And a lot of the time it's usually dedicated to going straight to work for clients, checking emails, finding out what I need to do and getting straight stuck into that stuff. And it was really nice to carve out a little hour or half hour, whatever I could get, and make sure that it was dedicated to my own practice. I think that's so important as a creative, that we make time for our personal projects, for things we want to do, because that really drives our style, our individuality, and probably some of our best work sometimes. I know that for a lot of the stuff that I shared that came out of this challenge, people really resonated with it and were really excited about that work, perhaps more than some of the stuff that I do for commercial work. So I think there's something in giving yourself time to really let your own creative voice speak. And the last thing that I found was, it was just a really good opportunity to explore ideas and mediums and even colour palettes that I wouldn't usually use, because I'd sort of turn up every day and some days I'd have good ideas about what I wanted to do. Other days I'd just have nothing, so I'd just have to sort of go out and try and find something that was unusual or different. And also often I'd revisit things where in my former practice I would sort of look at an idea and then move on and not do it again. So it was good to repeatedly revisit ideas that I was interested in and to explore new ideas. And having so much time committed to this, like over 100 days, making sure you do like an hour every day works out to a pretty big chunk of time and a pretty big chunk of creation, really. And doing that meant that I really got through a lot of different ideas and concepts and just really explored things that I probably wouldn't have made time for in the past. So it's kind of special in that way. So my general takeaway from this whole 100 days of drawing thing is it was really, really good. I would highly recommend that you do it if you have the time. The way that I started off was that I was just going to do 21 days to start with. And that feels a little bit more manageable. And I think that's a great way to start these kind of challenges. If you go, okay, I'm going to try 21 days. And if you get there, then maybe you're going to do 50. And then you get there, maybe you're going to do 75. So I found that was a lot more of a manageable and less overwhelming way to approach it. And I just wanted to recommend that wherever you are in your creative journey, whether you are a working artist or you feel like you're established or you're just starting out, doing something like this and carving out this time that's dedicated especially to your own creative practice is really, really beneficial. I felt like it was helpful in finding my own style, in building a habit, and in just creating a big volume of work that I can draw on later for my commercial work. And with all that said, let's take a closer look at some of my favourites from that volume of work. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was a little bit helpful or interesting for you. If you liked the video, please subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do. And let me know in the comments if there's any kind of scribbling videos you'd like to see in the future.